We're 4 offices, 2 in Oklahoma, 2 in Arkansas now. We have about 218 employees. We do the entire gambit of accounting services. We do FMS work, we do assurance, we do business valuations, litigation support, and of course tax.
Part of the history and importance of using the CCH products was we were a product of a merger firm that was on essentially different platforms. And CCH and their products have enabled us to move towards a path of one firm rather than multiple firms.
When we first started, we were not, the firms that merged, one was paperless and one wasn't. And I mean, so we went way back with products that, and it was difficult, but at the same time it streamlined things, just going paperless, and that was our first kind of thing, like everyone's on engagement, and that at least got us on the same page rolling. And then from there we've started using more and more products to help us kind of streamline and be able to work from different locations.
Well, we implemented Autoflow and Autoscan 2 years ago, and that streamlined the process where we could elevate our staff to a higher level where they're not having to do data input, and that saved a lot of time.
I think the most beneficial piece of Scan and Autoflow was it kind of forced us to be on one standard process, with the standardized PDF. And that has really enabled us essentially to move towards one process.
It's also allowed us to level load essentially across our offices. Sometimes we have more work in one office and less work in another, and we have been able to transfer that work across offices and be able to say, hey, instead of working 80 hours in this office and just your normal 40 here, we can all kind of work 50, and that gets us to where we need to be.
Consistency. I mean, having the same process will help eliminate some of the human errors that we all have. And if we get into those crisis modes and we can rely upon that same process, and if we need to work share, in the last minutes, we can easily shift that work and it'll be not a foreign product to another manager. It's the same return, the same product, the same indexing, tick marks. It's consistent. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish.
I think integration has always been a huge factor for us. We want products that integrate so that it does create a more seamless process. We recently moved to the U.S. Master Tax Guide, which is integrated with the software. So rather than somebody collecting, years and years of paper copies of these U.S. Master Tax Guides, we now have an electronic version, and you can either use the Google plugin and access it that way, or right click inside the tax software. And I think that integration piece has been huge for us. I think another key factor for having items electronically is that our firm is always growing. 2 years ago we started off with 3 locations, and last year we are now at 4. We're looking big picture so that we have the resources where we can add another firm or 4 or 5 and still be in the same uninterrupted spot where we were originally.
I mean, it's important because, we've got staff coming in that are technologically savvy, and they're like, why am I using a paper book? What is this? How is this relevant to what I do? So the staff love it. So that's important to start with. And then, if our staff have used it and they grow, then they use it in different capacities. And then, some of your middle managers love it too, because they're more technologically savvy as well, and it's tired of the paper piece of that.
And it's cost efficient. As we're at 218 employees, say 100 of that is tax, just the mere cost of a print versus the electronic version, it's huge.
The CCH and Teleconnect browser search has been very beneficial for me because originally I would actually begin my research within Google anyway. So I would go out to Google, drop something in, And then I'd find my hits and then go ahead and go into IntelliConnect and then try to find, the code and the regs associated with that. Whereas the CCH IntelliConnect browser search actually eliminates that middle step. I can drop in my search requirement and then boom, it pops up right there with the little plugin.